So we have heard from the previous panel that the audience is interacting with text messages, tweeters, and also in the case of Fabrizio, they interact with voice. So how do you see this interaction affecting your recommendation engine and your technology? And how do you take into account these aspects of interaction?
Yeah, great question. There is one thing which need to be said, probably. What changed a lot with the internet in like past 20 years? It's before there was like one large group and it was called nation. So you had the American nation, which had like 5 to 100 channels where something was going on. So everyone was watching almost the same every night. That changed a lot because the variety of the content is huge. So there is no more there is no more like one large group. There is actually hundreds of thousands of little groups which are different than the others. In my view, after like 5 to 10 years from since today, we will see only personalized channels based on the different like hundreds of thousands creators of the content, and there will be no dramaturgy from people, like from humans. There will be a lot of computers involved, and the socialized version or the social interactions will greatly help to actually enrich the experience of that. Some people want to watch something, some people want to watch something else, and it greatly depends on their actual taste and many other stuff. So what are we trying to do? And it's not only us, it's, I mean, like the whole industry is actually understand the people needs, the people taste, what people actually want to do in some time. So for example, it's when you're watching sport and you're watching baseball, it means you like a baseball in particular, or you like only this team, or you are watching this team because your friend is in the stadium, or what's the case. So what are we trying to do, and what are we trying to eventually understand is actually get the context of why and how are you interacting with the content. And there is much more things going around the communication when people are talking to each other about something, about what's happening right now on the television. The social aspect is much better. The people have better experience from the content, but it's sometimes really hard to push them to do actually anything, like mean interacting to each other. So all the tools which are helping to enrich the social life, I mean like the social experience, and all the tools which are trying to predict and somehow help you discover the better content together can actually really change the world of the TV.
And how, and you can give basically the audience a sense of how deeply integrated is social behavior in today's TV.
We look at all of the things that people are saying about hundreds, if not thousands, of television shows, and then try to use that to learn about audiences in general, and to also use it to make predictions for people. So for example, we have a recommendation engine that we've built on top of the things that people say, not only about television shows, but about their daily life. And so we can basically infer who the audience is of a show at an aggregate level just by looking at the tweets and Facebook posts about the show and about their daily lives. So pretty much we couldn't do our research if people weren't talking about shows online, and it's, you know, it's why we exist here at the Social TV Lab.
You know, we see all these tweeters, but in a very successful show, you could have millions and millions of tweeters. How can actually users, viewers make sense of that huge amount of information? And based on this, do you think there is any dramatic shift that we're gonna see in the next few years about viewers' behavior?
So that's a great question. So there are a number of things. Let me try to answer it. So one, how can users make sense of the behavior, I think was the first part of the question. Well, I think it's kind of hard for them to make sense of it in the current state, right? So one thing that needs to happen, and I think that's happening now in response to the fact that so many people are talking online about television shows, is that analytics companies are popping up to try to make sense of this data to offer different solutions for not only companies but also the viewers. And so we've heard a number of times now this idea that TV shows and channels might be personalized. So I think that's the way of the future, in that we will, now that this data exists, be able to make sense of it for viewers. However, today it's actually really difficult.